All right, let's call our meeting to order and we'll start with the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we have a roll call, please.
Director Cesenia,
Here.
Director Cross,
Here.
Director Hubbard,
Here.
Vice President Bourcroy,
I'm here.
President Womack.
Present. All right, we start with fire safety report.
Oh, and we have our new chief, Josh Lorenzo here with us tonight, and he'll give us a fire department report. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm on the video. I'm Chief Josh Lorenzo, newly appointed in the North Coast Battalion Chief. It ranges from Cambria down to Cayucas and over here in Los Osos. Honored to be here. I'm humbled to be here and have this opportunity before you. And I'll present our monthly report. On October 31st, Station 15 South Bay handed out Halloween candy to the trick-or-treaters that stopped by the station. South Bay would like to thank the students of the Baywood Elementary for including our staff in their Act of Kindness Week. We appreciate all of that support. Now from now until December 12, 2025, Station 15 South Bay is collecting food and toy donations on behalf of the 14th annual Season of Hope and Toy Drive. There's also a QR code at the fire station on the box itself. They can scan and donate electronically if they wish to do so. Starting late October and running through June 26th, just want to announce prescribed burns may occur in the Hearst, San Simeon, Estero Bluffs, Morro Bay, and Montana de Oro state parks, depending on availability of fire resources, weather, and air quality conditions. Expect some roads, the facilities or trails near the burn areas to be closed, and smoke may be seen from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the day of the burn. These burns are a part of the California State Parks Prescribed Burn Program for vegetation management and fuel load reduction, wildlife habitat improvement, and other ecological benefits. Line 6, CAL FIRE San Luis Obispo unit has been approached by San Luis Obispo County Parks to assist in vegetation management and habitat enhancement at the Los Osos Monarch Grove that actually started Wednesday. And the goal will be to reduce the community wildfire risk, improve forest health, support the monarch butterfly population by improving and restoring the habitat. Work started obviously and is expected to run approximately 10 days to 3 weeks. The treatment work will prioritize a dead and down disease vegetation, material removal, eucalyptus tree, limbing up to 10 feet, the eucalyptus sapling removal, and 100 feet buffer from the resident and the properties along the Inyo Street, Butterfly Lane, and Fresno Street. Line 7, Station 15, South Bay is always accepting reserve firefighter applications. Applications may be picked up and turned in at 2315 Bayview Heights Drive in Los Osos. The application packet may be found online as well.
Great to meet you. Thanks for your report. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
I just want to say welcome, and obviously the Monarch Grove thing in the news, maybe a couple next week. So welcome to Los Osos. We have a lot of issues that'll be coming up in the next year or so. It's a pleasure to be meeting you and working with you.
And it's a pleasure for mine too, and I look forward to creating relationships with the rest of you. And also, I do have that monthly incident summary report in front of me. I know that you guys have all provided that as well. If you have any questions on that, or if I can answer to that, any of these that you do.
I have a couple of comments about that. I guess I'd love to know a little bit about your background and where you're coming from and this kind of things.
Thank you for asking that. I actually said I was going to do that. So I reside in the county. I live in Atascadero with my wife and 3 kids. I started with fire in 2006. Prior to that, I moved here in 2003. When I was serving the Marine Corps for 4 years, and used to visit friends and family that lived and resided in the area, and I just fell in love with it. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, moved to the area and never left.
So I think some of the things Chuck talked about that are important about mentioning is just, South Bay Fire we're not a county fire station, we're our own fire station with a contract. So it's a little different, like from a city, for instance, with the Schedule A, which is our contract with CAL FIRE. And with that, this community, really values you guys' service, for sure. And has been willing to pay a special fire tax for many years now. And part of that trust is that the community gets a level of service that's much higher than other areas of the county. So we're an ALS station. I'm sure you're familiar with that already. And those things I think for this board are really important to keep track of. So we came up, Chief Province came up with these diagrams to kind of as performance indicators showing, that what our station is doing, what aid we're giving, what aid we're receiving. Because there's been a lot of questions about that in the past. I know I've asked for call logs, and we've gotten them sporadically. That's going to be something I'm going to continue to ask for. And yeah, I think I know I'm looking forward to a very productive relationship with Los Osos. So we're happy to have you.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, and we're happy to provide anything you want as far as information that you need. Just let me know, and we'll get you anything you want. Obviously,
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, the sheriff's department report.
Good evening, Commander Boss here. For the month of October, we took a total of 128 calls for service in the Los Osos CSD area. Of note were 39 enforcement stops, 56 preventive patrol activities, and 4 assault and batteries. Something that I wanted to address, in the last couple of weeks, the sheriff's office has been made aware that there's been correspondences that have been sent to various members and institutions within the community alleging that another member of the community has been in the community causing what I would describe in these postings and letters violent sexual assaults. And the way the letters are coming out or the postings are coming out, that this subject is stalking people, is prowling at residences of females. If you're aware of it, you know what I'm talking about. So with regards to these allegations, the sheriff's office is aware of them. We have investigated. We have taken one report involving the accused subject. It was not a sexual assault related offense. The investigation was concluded or determined to be unfounded, meaning the evidence supported that what was being alleged did not occur. The sheriff's office is not aware of this subject or hasn't taken any calls for service involving this subject, accusing him of any type of sexual assault, any type of prowling related activities. So again, if somebody in the community has seen these postings, just be aware. We are aware of them. We are not aware of any allegations from any victims or witnesses to any of this conduct. The sheriff's office has repeatedly attempted to contact the original reporting party in order to determine if any other crimes have been alleged, and the original reporting party refuses to speak to anyone from the sheriff's office, including members from the community action team. So rest assured, there isn't a prowler that's in the loose in the community, or at least that it's been alleged to the sheriff's office, in case anybody has seen these postings or bulletins. That is all I have, unless anybody has anything for me.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I do, and it seems like maybe a strange time to ask this, but I want to resolve a question that's come up between a friend and I, and it may be relevant these days. Under what conditions are we required to carry ID upon our persons as we move about town? If you're out on a hike, a walk, and you get questioned for some reason, you have to have your ID on you. This is a personal argument, but it might be relevant for everybody.
Or maybe we should be asking our lawyer.
Okay. No, I think that, why couldn't, law enforcement, and.
Oh, no, they can answer too.
Yeah.
I'm just,
So what I can tell you is in terms of possessing your like identification, specifically like a driver's license, you must have a driver's license in your possession when you're operating a motor vehicle. With regards to any other time, you don't necessarily need to present your identification, but if you are being detained during a criminal investigation, you may be required to identify yourself either verbally with your name and date of birth, or if you know your driver's license number, or via presenting your identification.
No, I'll take that anytime. And if there's a crime involved, then we want everybody identified. Like I said, it's a personal question. I have someone that insists that you must carry your ID at all times with you, or you can be arrested for not having it upon yourself. And that just seems a little bit.
I've been doing this. I've been with the sheriff's office. I've been in law enforcement for almost 19 years. I'm not aware of any penal code or other statute that requires you to have your driver's license in your possession, absent operating a motor vehicle.
Fair enough. Thank you.
all right. Good question. Anyone else? All right, thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to add, Craig?
You know.
Okay, let's do the California Highway Patrol report if we have them online.
Hi, good evening. How am I coming through?
Great.
We've had a little personnel change at the SLO CHP Patrol Office. My name is Jason Bronson. I am the new lieutenant there. And taking over for Lieutenant James Ferguson, who's a previous attendee of these meetings. I'm appreciative and grateful for the opportunity to be part of the conversation and be invited. So thank you very much. Lieutenant Ferguson passed along that particularly germane for the Highway Patrol presentation would be traffic safety and collision matters in the Los Osos area. And I was able to drag those up. I've been in the office for about 10 days now, but I'm putting things together. We had 2 recordable accidents in the Los Osos area last month for October. One minor injury crash where an individual hit a sign and a telephone pole on LOVR near Palisades Avenue. That was a minor injury. And one DUI crash where a driver who was determined to be under the influence struck a parked car on 2nd Street. That being said, in regards to awareness for drunk drivers out there, our officers, out of 48 DUI arrests over the course of October for our responsible area, 3 of those were designated in the Los Osos area. So there are DUI drivers, and we highly encourage assistance from all our community members. If you suspect a DUI driver, you see DUI driving behavior, or you're aware of a DUI driver by virtue of someone leaving a residence and traveling in a direction, we encourage you to call. It's a perfectly appropriate call for our 911 dispatch. I know some people are loath to call that, and we'll try to use a non-emergency line. But for prompt services and to get an officer out there to remove that driver from the roadway, the 911 is the most appropriate avenue. That's all of the updates I have for this meeting. Lieutenant Ferguson didn't leave me with any pending traffic safety issues, concerns, or projects. So I welcome any input.
Great to meet you. Thanks for your report. Do we have any questions or comments from the board? All right. I think we're good. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, General action
Can I
items.
take public comment first?
Oh, all right, let's take public comment on the public safety report.
If you're online, please raise your hand, and in the boardroom, come to the podium. There's none online.
Okay. Introduction to the first reading of ordinance 2025-2 by title only, amending and restating Title 4 of the District Code and adoption of the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code.
Ron, did you want to introduce this?
Uh,
Oh, or just
Yes,
Lorenzo?
good evening. This is giving me flashbacks of when we were in COVID on my side. Anyway, it's good to be here with you tonight. I wish I could be there in person. I did want to just frame this up. We do have Deputy Fire Marshal Wells that'll actually explain some of what the changes are. But for a little background, every 3 years, the California Fire codes are republished and incorporated all the code changes accepted by a majority of the members attending the annual code meetings. The state of California adopts and amends the most recent edition of the codes, which are substantially published by the California Building Standards. And then the commission completed the process for the 2025 edition, also known as Title 24, Part 9. The California Health and Safety Code allows the district to amend provisions of the California Building Standards codes due to local climatic, geologic, and topographical conditions. And if you read the ordinance, we go through that as far as our findings. The recommended action is the opportunity to include the amendments of the code to address the unusual local conditions of the Los Osos community. This is something we have done every 3 years, and the proposed ordinance contains the findings required to justify the proposed fire modifications. So basically, this is something we have done on a routine basis, but we do have Deputy Fire Marshal Wells that can explain the particulars of this, the changes that we're looking at tonight.
All right, thanks, Ron.
Right. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Dale Wells. I'm fire captain, one of the deputy fire marshals within the county fire department. Here to present to you today and bring before you the hearing. Again, like you said, the amendments to Title 4 of the Los Osos Community Services District. These updates are necessary because the California Building Code Standards and Commission has adopted the 2025 California Fire Code, known as Title 24, Part 9 of the California Code of Regulations, which is updated every 3 years, kind of repeating what Ron said. Some noticeable amendments proposed. The adoption of Title 24, Part 7, 2025 Wildland WUI Interface Code. This is the new code that the Commission has added to the Code of Regulations, Title 24 volume. The code consolidates multiple fire safety standards within a single volume or book with wildland interface, within wildland interface area. You're not proposing, as far as the fire code, any new local amendments or any new adoptions of the appendices. Everything current that's in there will remain. This code applies to, the WUI code applies to construction within a designated WUI interface. Some items being removed from the past code, and that won't be in the current code, as the removal of the dead end road standards 5.3.1 was found unnecessary. Addition of the word new in section 503.1.2.1.1 for classification purposes. This change is not retroactive and applies only to the new subdivisions for the dead end road standards. Removing of water storage tank and hydrant locations. Requirements previously listed under table 903.1, as that's found in other sections of the fire code and was duplicated. Being in that table.
is recommended that county fire to set December 4th, 2025 as the date to hold a public hearing on the proposed ordinance amendments. This concludes presentation, and if you have any questions.
Any questions from the board?
No. This is a pretty standard action that we go through every couple of years, and it gets studied and vetted statewide, and particularly I bet this year.
I want to say I appreciated it printed in color. It made it easy to find the change sections, so thank you for that. All right, thanks so much.
We do have the recommendation on the next slide for the board to consider.
All right.
You do need to take public comment.
Oh, let me open it up for public comment.
If you're online, please raise your hand and the boardroom come to the podium.
Richard Margetson, just real quick. This first section. This is what will get adopted, the ordinance.
With the exhibit, which is.
I get it. You might want to check the last page because Chuck Cecina is no longer president.
Oh, I did see that too. I think I would probably cut and paste it from the last time I did this.
Several years old.
Yeah.
That was my bad. Sorry.
No worries.
First one in 5 years.
Well, at least you didn't present it to me to be signed. I'm sure it would have been corrected before then.
There's been online.
Okay, all right, I bring it back to the board.
I move that the board introduce by title only the attached proposed ordinance amendments and instruct staff to set December 4th, 2025 as the date to hold a public hearing on the proposed ordinance amendments.
I second that.
All right, I believe we need a roll call vote, or no? Oh, maybe we have a, is that a no?
No, it's a yes.
Okay,
Director Cesenia,
Yes.
Director Cross,
Yes.
Director Hubbard,
Yes.
Vice President Forkbright,
Yes.
President Womack.
yes.
And then we just need to read the title, which is ordinance number 2025-02, an ordinance of the Los Osos Community Services District amending and restating the district's fire prevention code, found in Title IV of the Los Osos Community Services District codes, including the adoption of the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code, including annual supplements and state amendments and errata.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Review of the executive recruitment firm proposals for the general manager position.
Yes, I'll give a little bit of background on this before we have board discussion on it. Back on September 4th, 2025, I informed the board that my intention was to retire towards the end of 2026. Based on direction provided by the board president and vice president, we went out and solicited proposals from qualified executive recruitment firms to manage the search process. Next slide. Laura was really great on this. She reached out to quite a few firms. We did get 4 what I would call highly qualified firms to provide proposals. Those are Peckham and McKinney, Bob Murray and Associates, Regional Government Services, and CPS HR Consulting. Myself and Laura, the assistant or admin services manager, evaluate each proposal based on the following items: firm and team experience, approach, schedule, and responsiveness to the district needs, fee structure and inclusions. This means what was included in the fee, of course, just to clarify what that inclusions mean, and references and track record on recruitments. After the review, staff narrowed it down to 2 that we think would be the highest or the best qualified for what we need at the CSD. That would be Peckham and McKinney and CPS HR Consulting. Both have shown or demonstrated strong qualifications and experience in local government recruitment, and one actually has local experience and recent local experience. So we decided that it wouldn't be prudent for staff to make the final decision. So we are recommending that the recruitment in order to initiate the recruitment by January 2026, which is what we had talked about as a date to start, that we form an ad hoc committee composed of the board president and vice president. And the reason for this is to expedite the process. If we don't get a contract signed in the next week or two, that could delay the actual recruitment process. The committee would be responsible for reviewing the two finalist proposal, selecting the preferred firm, and authorizing the board president to execute a professional services agreement not to exceed $31,500. In order to pay for this, we look, the exceed limit is the 31,500. That was the proposed cost of one of the two finalists. So we wanted to at least go up to what that was. We feel we can negotiate something a little bit less, but it depends on what's firm selected and the final scope of work for services are. As of August 31st, 2025, Fund 100 has about $140,000 in unassigned cash, and that we recommend that the unassigned cash be used for this recruitment process. So that's a presentation. Laura and I are available for questions, and here's the staff recommendation.
All right, I have a question, but I don't need to go first. Does anyone else have questions? Okay,
Thoughts, but go ahead.
all right, on page 10 of the CPS HR consulting, it says the highlighted recruitments were conducted by a proposed recruitment team. I don't really see highlighted unless they're all them. Is this like a list from their whole firm, or are these ones did Pam and Fatima do all of these?
I'm sorry, Chris, which proposal are you looking at?
The second proposal, CPS HR consulting.
Page 10, okay.
And before in the bottom third, it says the last little bullet says the highlighted recruitments were conducted by a proposed recruitment team. But I didn't see they're highlighted, but maybe they did all of these. Is that what it is?
Laura, for some reason, I'm not quite understanding the question. I apologize.
My assumption that
Okay.
that is all open, but I'm not, we could reach out to them and find out for sure.
I would be very surprised if they listed things that they can do on this list.
Well, I just thought, I guess I was expecting something highlighted, but maybe there are
Putting in the list.
right. I'm just trying to understand.
Emphasizing these recruitments that.
Okay, well,
That's how we should read.
all right, that was my question. Any other questions?
I have a comment. If we think we can come to a decision today at this meeting, is there a need for an ad hoc committee?
There is not. I just didn't want to bring a recommendation forward. I wanted that to be a board decision, not one coming from the general manager.
Mhm.
So we could choose to discuss now.
Up to you, President, I think.
All right,
Greg, can you weigh in on that? Because it's not part of the recommended action, but it is an agenda item. So if you could comment on that.
Yeah, I think it's sufficiently descriptive of the agenda item that if the board decides to do something other than what staff recommended, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
okay,
Would a decision tonight speed up our time frame in some meaningful way a meaningful way?
Well, it would be helpful. Like I said, the sooner the better, especially both firms have other pending scheduled items, other clients. And so it would behoove us to make a decision as quickly as possible, whether it has to be tonight or, next week. I don't know if that would delay.
It seemed like the committee was prepared to move without us, the full board weighing in, aren't we granting them that authority?
Right, but I assume that, you know, like if Director Cross wants to provide input based on what he's read, I think that would be appropriate.
I do plan to
And
do
then,
that.
and then the board could make a decision whether they wanted to move forward tonight or give that power to the president and vice president.
Yeah, I'm glad to receive board input
Oh,
and
yeah, absolutely.
and also if we've kind of come to agreement, happy to make a decision tonight, so.
I agree with
it's fine
that.
Me. Okay,
Maybe Tom should tell us what his thoughts are.
what do you think, Tom?
Well, I think both of I read all four of the proposals, and both of them, the ones presented in the agenda packet are very impressive. I especially really like how much local experience Peckman and McKinney has. But a lot of my eyes are on CPS HR consultant. The fact that they're a public entity and not a private entity really caught my interest. The fact that they have a 95% retention rate over 2 years. After 2 years, 95% of the recruits were retained by their organization. They're slightly more affordable, at least according to the numbers listed in the packet. They have more experience, where CPS HR has 40 years, while Peckham has 21 or so years. Both are extremely experienced, so I don't find any fault in either of them. And a significant portion of CPS HR's recruits are with special districts. Those are the things that stuck out to me.
I did like how CPHR is a partner of the CSDA.
Yeah, look at the photo. They're on magazines, they're on desk right now. But both are great. But my preference would be for CPS.
All right. Further input?
Yeah, I had that kind of the opposite feeling. I liked the fact that they were the structure that they had set up. I did like that. I guess I'm looking at the board of directors, and man, they're all over the country. And the other firm had a little more local knowledge, and it seemed like and I'm trying to get past the fact that Anaheim is one of their board of directors, because there's been some trouble in Anaheim recently. Maybe that's just because I'm a sports fan, but either firm I think would be good. But I like a more local connection if we can find one.
I 100% agree with that. I was hoping if we did end up going with CPS that we would emphasize that we want someone local. But if we think that it's more likely to go with
Well, Sacramento's not that far away. They're they're within the state at least.
I'm sure they can find. I think it's another big piece of this too is that Beckman and McKinney have been basically looking at a pool of applicants locally. It's the same pool that we're looking at. So they're
Yeah,
already
that's true.
familiar with who it is and where they're at, and
The people they had assigned to the project, experienced in Monterey, locally on the coast.
Morro Bay,
Yeah.
City of Slow.
Yeah. I kind of like
That's
that.
pretty much our field.
So I guess at that point, I'm not sure I'm ready then to make a decision. Maybe we should just turn it over to the ad hoc committee that adds a week to the process.
And if I could interject real quick, the advantage of turning it over to the ad hoc committee is they do have the opportunity to talk directly with the representatives from each. Laura and I had conversations. Actually, I just had one. Laura and I were on a call with one, and Laura had an extensive conversation with the other. I wasn't available, but it really did help us determine how to get to the top two. And that may be something that would help the president and vice president if they're having trouble coming to a conclusion on it.
That's a good point. More direct contact that the board, that everyone has with these people.
Yeah, that'd make it easier to get a feel
It's
for
always
them,
better.
what they'd be like to work with.
And both Laura and I have an opinion, and so you can ask us that too in confidence.
Okay,
I do really like both candidates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they both work.
And this is wonderful that we've been able to go through this. This is very different than our past recruiting efforts.
Well, this is the next most critical thing.
We need two rock stars to replace the one we got now.
If we do decide to go with an ad hoc committee, I would like the committee to ask specifically from CPS HR how local they can look specifically. So they mentioned that their search would be focused on our priorities, and if one of our priorities is someone local, so learn to dance or culture, I want to see if that's something that they are able to do.
I guess I'm okay with finding a qualified candidate that's not local. Like, I think it's a great place to move. You could get, I mean, I'm happy to look at local people first.
Yeah, that's another great reason why I want CPS is because while I may want someone local, having more options is never bad.
Would you like to take public comment? I believe one of the representatives is online.
Oh, do we have any further comments? Okay, then yes, let's take public comment on this item.
If you'd like to make a public comment and you're online, please raise your hand, and in the boardroom, come to the podium. All right, it just says ACOTE. You are welcome to talk.
It's Ashley Cote, but Ashley Smith now. Hi. I just have a question about this process in general so that I understand. It's the board of directors is responsible for selecting the general manager. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no election for general manager. There's election for the board of directors, and then the board selects the general manager. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I haven't looked at these recruiters and what their quotes are for, but one of the things I was curious is, will there be an assistant general manager as well? I know Ron has done a lot for many years, or are you looking for just a general manager, and will they be recruiting for both, or?
Is that all for your public comment?
Oh yeah, just that question.
Thank you.
So I think at this time, we're just looking at general manager, but there is another.
They want to come.
Oh, retirement. Oh, okay.
You know, that's a good question though. And aren't we looking for a full-time general manager? And if we need a part-time, we'll deal with that after we make this decision.
Well, I think whoever becomes our general manager should have a lot of input about who comes on that floor.
Yeah.
That staff, I think, I mean, we don't hire the rest of the staff.
Right.
That's not our job.
So we do
That's
have
the answer to that question.
another retirement coming somewhere, but not another position also, but yeah.
But again, that's not our, we don't hire that position.
Right. The general manager, and then those decisions.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure. Oh.
Richard Martinson. I caution about going outside of the area. Osos is pretty unique in some of the issues we have here. We've had general managers in the past that were from out of the area. And they were disasters, absolute disasters. Took years to clean up some of those messes. I believe there's qualified people in this county that just through the news are gonna know some of the stuff that goes on with Osos over the years, and it may have some of that historical knowledge. You bring somebody from outside the county or another part of the state, it's gonna take months to get them up to speed on what we actually are going through, what we went through, and where we are at this point. I know Ron's gonna hang around and, in that transition and stuff, but I think his job in the transition will be much easier if we can find somebody local. And I believe those people are out here.
Thank you. Any further public comment? All right. Yeah, I think the issue with the local is, are they ready to move when we need them?
I still would hope that that's what the outcome is, that someone is invested because they know the local area. We brought people in from the outside before. And for many different reasons, and maybe we weren't able to attract good candidates in the past, but we're there now.
Yeah.
This is a
I
good
mean,
job.
like what we have now is ideal. When they
Yes.
say what you're looking for, it's like.
And what you have to be careful of is we've had managers move from the East Coast before.
Mhm.
That had retired elsewhere, and I think we're thinking about this little West Coast gig that would be nice and easy, and this isn't nice and easy.
Yeah.
No, but I think this also is a good opportunity for us, you know, I don't think this has been really said, but the purpose of this whole agenda item is that we want to recruit the best. And this board is committed to supporting that new GM. You know, the reason we're moving now, not later, is so that there's plenty of time for Ron to help mentor and pass on all the institutional knowledge. So I think I'm proud of our board for the way that we have it set up and the commitment to finding really qualified people.
So, with that, I'm gonna move that the board approve funding for professional services to conduct the recruitment of a new general manager using Fund 100's unassigned cash in an amount not to exceed $31,500. And that we appoint an ad hoc committee comprised of the board president and vice president to review the recruitment proposals. And that we authorize the ad hoc committee to select a top ranked firm and authorize the board president to execute a professional services contract in an amount not to exceed $31,500.
I'll second that.
Before we vote, can I get one clarification of how long it'll take the ad hoc committee to act? I think it was mentioned a week, but I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, that's
Coordinate schedules after this meeting, as fast as possible.
All right.
That's true. I mentioned a week and I don't know where I came up with that.
Well, I guess.
Were you on
Not to
some
put any
kind of
pressure on
pressure
you.
or something? Because that sounds a lot like.
I thought I heard that.
I certainly.
I'm ready to make a decision now, but
Well, we have a motion, I think in a second.
Okay, do we need roll call or just, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I, or nay.
Okay. Well, moving on, so, well, the ad hoc committee of me and Matthew, and I think I have to say if it's paid or not. So
Yes,
it's paid.
please.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on.
You have full faith and support of the ad hoc committee, just to clarify that.
And the board makes the final decision.
I
you know.
enjoy some dissent, so don't apologize.
No,
Like that.
absolutely, right.
Like, I feel like you get a better, more of a robust discussion. So I'm all in favor of different opinions.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, we're under a time crunch unless you want to delay when the recruitment starts. And plus, like I said, both firms have clients in the wings, and so they're holding a spot in their schedules for us.
Oh, so when is the spot in their schedule? I can be available next week.
And I can, it depends on which day, but I can be available next week, either by Zoom or in person.
How's your
I
schedule?
think we should schedule this after the meeting.
Okay. Can we agree it's next week?
I can agree that it's gonna be as soon as possible.
Alrighty. Okay. All right,
That
well,
was Saturday and Sunday.
There's 24 hours.
Just
okay, as long as it's not Thanksgiving. Review of Mission County Disposal 2026 index-based solid waste rate adjustment of 5.19%. No action required. Recommend board review the formal notice from Mission County Disposal. All right, do
Yes.
you have a presentation on it?
I do, and the reason I decided to bring this to the board, and it's interesting, all the other general managers that are in the Waste Connection service area, we were all asking each other how to handle, and I had decided, since this was the first year under the new rate setting methodology, that I'd bring it forward and it may need to come forward a couple of times before it becomes more routine and a consent item. So with that, let me just kind of give a brief background on how we got here for others that are watching or in the room. Back on January 9th, 2025, the district held a public hearing to adjust solid waste rates, the rate setting methodology, sorry, and approve rates for 5 years ending in the calendar year 2029. And that's where, again, we've made the commitment to a process, and it has in our Mission Country disposal franchise agreement, we did make amendment number 2 to include this in that agreement. We have been coordinating with the other 9 cities and CSDs using R3, our consultant, to review to make sure the proposed rate increase request was in line with the approved rate setting methodology. Then on October 29th, 2025, our R3 consultant confirmed that the request was made in accordance with the approved rate methodology, and that the proposed rate increase of 5.19% will be effective on January 1st, 2026. Just to go through the components of what the consultant looked at and that we will be looking at in the future, this should be something that once we become accustomed to it, it can be done at staff level and won't require consultant services. This consumer price index that we are using is for garbage and trash collection services. Yes, there is an index for this type of service. So we use the average of 12-month CPI for that index, ending in June of this year or the current year. For this year, it was 4.5%. Next slide. Okay. Pursuant to the appendix in section 2, subsection B of the amendment 2, I should say, we did, in order to move to this methodology, we granted Waste Connections or Mission Country Disposal a profit allowance from 9% to 10%. In future years, that won't be part of this considered in any future rate increase. So that's just for the specific year. Next slide.
That is the next slide. Does it say annual revenue reconciliation on your screen?
No, let me pull it up. My screen froze, of course. I need to, I'm sorry, I have to go here. Okay, I can do it off my phone. Hang on, catching up there. I'm sorry, do you want to just get that next slide while I get caught up on my phone here? Oh, there it goes. There it goes. It finally moved. The annual revenue reconciliation will begin in, this is the other component, very important component of the rate setting methodology. We did include the whole rate setting methodology in the board packet. Not that I wanted you to digest the whole thing, but as a reminder, and this is to kind of ground truth the profit or the revenue and expenses from year to year. And if there's the revenues exceeding expenses or vice versa, there's a mechanism there for this annual revenue reconciliation that will begin in 2027. Again, I don't want to get into, it is complicated, but if anyone needs an explanation, I'm more than happy to explain them in person. Next slide, please. So this is out of the resolution from January 9th, 2025, just to explain to the public and the board that section 2 rates and charges, this isn't the whole section, this is the second half, but it does explain that January 1st of calendar years 2026, 7, 28, 29, based on the consumer price index we talked about, that then the rate increase would, and in accordance with the rate setting methodology, the rate increase will take place automatically. Next slide. So that's my presentation. Again, this was informational, but I want to make sure if there's any questions from the public or the board, I will try my best to answer those.
All right, thanks for your presentation, Ron. Any questions from the board?
I just want to verify, so for 2026, the rates are gonna go up 10%?
5.19%.
5.19, okay, because I saw this one-time profit allowance increase from 9 to 10 with no additional revenue. So it's 5.19% for 2026.
And that's based on the CPI for the trash. CPI was 4.5%. And then to add that 1% of profit added on the balance between 4.5 to 5.19%.
Okay. And then, of course, down the line, we're not sure what, if any kind of increase will be for 2027, 8, and 9.
No, but we'll get an annual letter from Mission Country Disposal that will go through the process of the rate setting methodology to explain any rate increase they're requesting. And so that's the unknown. We know we have, and boy, I should know this by heart, but there's like a bottom level of 2% and a top level of 5%, but then there's these other circumstances that can drive it up above 5%, and that's the revenue reconciliation.
And what time of the year approximately would they normally be sending out the letter for the following year?
Just like it is tonight. They provided it, was it October, Laura, beginning of October?
We actually got the letter from Waste Connections on August 29th.
Oh, way back. Okay, it was back in August. We didn't really act on it until October when we got R3 involved and the other jurisdictions. Thank you.
Yeah, the reason I'm just asking that is just so then we'll have the opportunity to tell the people of Los Osos what kind of increase they'd be looking at.
Yes.
Good.
And so in future years, we would probably move quicker, especially if they sent Waste or Mission Country sent that in August. We could move probably in October instead of November. Giving more time.
I don't know, if we got them notice like the last day of August, maybe October's too soon. Okay.
Well, again, the methodology isn't overly complicated. It's really verifying the numbers. Now, when the revenue reconciliation kicks in, that may take a little bit longer because that is going to be complicated, and we may need help from a consultant at least the first couple of years that kicks in to make sure we understand and can verify that number.
All right, great. Any further questions, comments, requests for clarification from the board?
This is a complicated process, but if we can avoid the shock that we had 2 years ago or whatever that was, that 50% rate increases and then they drop back down and some kind of certainty is what we're after. And I think this is a good step in that direction.
Chuck, you're absolutely right. That was the whole point of getting a different type of methodology to calculate rates because we had 2 huge years and like you said, a year where it dropped and it was really getting all over the place.
Yeah, I think smaller, more digestible increases are better, but I think that big increase was also state laws that were passed that we don't really have control over. Or
That might have been part of it.
The, control of methane. Anyway, let's open this item up for public comment.
If you're online, raise your hand in the boardroom, come to the podium.
Richard Martinson, the franchise fee this year, well over 400,000. We've had discussion of what to do with that, as it accumulates. I think that's something that before Ron leaves, that the board needs and the general manager need to have that discussion because that amount is going to grow quickly over the next few years. We already have over 500,000 in reserves and unassigned cash. You're going to add another 150 this year after paying the franchise agreement, the repayment to the county. And the transfer to administration, we're still gonna be $150,000 to the good, so, gotta figure out something to do with that. I know there's been some suggestions, but that's a discussion I think you need to have with the current general manager before he leaves.
Good evening, board and staff. I'm Zach Zimmerman with Waste Connections. I'm the municipal outreach coordinator for our organization, a position that has just existed since about a month after you had your discussion last and decided to come into this rate model. So just wanted to introduce myself. I'm the recovering Grover Beach City Council member, so I know what you're doing out there and I appreciate your work. And if you have any further question or discussion, Lauren knows where to find me, and I'm happy to have a phone call, email, copy, anything like that. So, and thank you, Ron, too, for your succinct and very accurate presentation. So, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for being there.
My pleasure.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the board, or we don't have any online, do we?
I know, there's one moment.
All right, any further questions or comments?
Nope.
All right, move along.
Before you move on, under doctor's orders, I have to jump off this.
All right, good to see you, yeah.
Yeah,
Rest up.
voice.
We'll talk soon. Thanks so much.
Take care of yourself, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll take public comment for items not on the agenda.
If you're online, raise your hand, and in the boardroom, come to the podium. There's none online.
Okay. Close public comment. Administrative and committee reports. Let's see.
The general managers one and utilities one is in your board packet.
Okay, they're written this time.
Yes, I can try to answer questions if you have any, but I know some of things going on, but.
Does anyone have any questions about the written report? Let's see, all right, LoCAT.
Yes, I was, obviously you had Baywood Park Chamber of Commerce before me.
That's just a written report.
That's just a written report, okay. Yes, I was at the LoCAT, meeting on the 23rd of October. Basically, we had, Bruce Gibson there. He talked about a little bit about, losing his, emergency services representative, Blake Fixler. He's moving to HR. I presented some CSD stuff that I got from Ron, mentioned about the water systems consulting contract that we approved at $354,000, and that gonna cost about $10 million for the hookup, and that we are looking at alternate or additional funding outside of here. Let me see, I also mentioned that we were looking into partnering with Morro Bay Fire Department for fire prevention, and we definitely will need, I told the board that we definitely need to increase special fire tax regardless of what we end up doing. See here, let me see, the big discussion that lasted the longest time was from the Basic Management Committee report. Their report stated that basically they have a transient model that determines what a safe amount of water be pumping would be. Their model suggested 2,000 acre feet and a 0% growth rate, where Mr. Gibson countered that basically he was finding the module science to be at fault, and the science that they have show that we could sustain a 4% growth rate. So there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect between Base Management Committee and the county on this particular thing. They are going to talk about it again, I believe, November 12th, meeting at the BMC. The last thing was, Deborah Howe talked about the South Bay Bridge. Yeah, I think everybody knows that's gonna be replaced. It's gonna be replaced, hopefully by the end of fall 2027. The original was built in 1966, and it's been deemed that it would not survive a major earthquake if, we had that, so that's the reason they're replacing that bridge. I think that's the highlights.
So are we gonna have to drive around, or what are they gonna do?
No, they're gonna keep it open until the time where they can start putting traffic across. So no, you want to drive around. The bridge will be open as the construction is,
Okay.
If you notice, as you go across there, there's a really wide section on the east where they cut way back when they built the existing bridge. There's a lot of room there on that side. So they don't have to do a lot of earthwork, actually, to widen the bridge. And so a half-width construction will probably be the kind of thing they use, or maybe they'll change the alignment just a little bit. But no, they would not shut that road
That
down
would
for
be
a
a
year.
long
That's
way
not,
around.
that's a year worth of construction, and they won't shut that road.
right.
Okay, that is good to hear.
The new bridge supposedly is going to be incorporated into this long-range bike path project that they have that they want to connect Morro Bay and Los Osos, make it a safe trip.
And with the climate resiliency study that's been going on, they're talking about South Bay Boulevard.
Right.
There've been a couple of meetings about that. And how do we make sure we don't get flooded in the future?
Whether that tide was lapping the edge of.
I had the king tide, yeah.
Yeah, pushing 7.
All right, thanks for that report.
Sure.
I have a question on a part of that, and I don't know if it's perfect to bug right now, but regarding the Basin Management Committee, maybe Chuck can answer this, or maybe Paul can answer this. Why does there seem to be such a disconnect between the what the Basin Management Committee recommends and what Bruce suspects the county would recommend? I say suspect. He seems less confident in the transient model and the Basin Management Committee's recommendation, and why?
He found it flawed. He said he'd be happy to sit down with anybody and go over the nuts and bolts of why he thought that was not a valid.
Well, there's this is a huge discussion, number one.
Maybe
That's very, very, very involved and has a lot of nuance. And yeah, there is this back and forth going on, and there's been peer reviews, and there's a lot of different pieces to this. I do think at some point that this board should understand what's going on there more. And I know you guys have a big meeting coming up.
Sure, and you know what, since we don't have a Parks and Rec meeting, we're on to utilities advisory with our next agenda item, and I'll handle the base management stuff at the same time. So really what's going on is I think the county is trying to introduce some uncertainty with the transient model, saying that you can't tell us exactly where the saltwater intrusion front's going to be. Well, of course not. It's a model. Dan Heimel's favorite saying is all models are valuable, some are good.
All models are wrong.
Wrong, yeah.
Some models are useful.
Some are useful. That's they're all wrong, some are useful. So, I mean, we're looking at 45-year projections, way into the future. This is a shock to the county, I think. It's a significant reduction in the estimated sustainable yield. And in fact, if you remember, the original tech memo that came out after we got the transient model talked about the baseline scenario, which is the amount of water we're pumping now, and it talked about that not being sustainable. The 2,000 acre feet is above what we're pumping now.
Right.
So what we're talking about is a sustainable basin, given the fact that we can move wells to the east, we can do different things. Our 8th Street well has the lower, actually, the zone D well has not really been fully available because of our SCADA problems. So as soon as that's solved, we've got another source of water there. All these things will add up to an estimated sustainable yield a little above what we're pumping now. But we're not there yet. We haven't stopped saltwater intrusion yet. And so I think the purveyors at the BMC all voted to, well, there was unanimous vote to lower the estimated sustainable yield. Bruce Gibson agreed with the 2,000 feet. The contention came when the purveyors wanted to send a letter to the county recommending a 0% growth rate for next year. Because we just think we need time to process all of this. But if you notice, there was a paragraph in that letter that talked about none of this is to influence the county's decisions regarding the current applications that were submitted this year based on the understanding of conditions that were presented to the Coastal Commission. So you got all these people hung up. They've been spending money trying to get their permits approved. And we're gonna, unfortunately, their permits don't roll over till next year. And so we're gonna leave it to the county, I think, to decide how to deal with these people. Are they part of that 0.4% growth rate for next year? And then they'll lock into, I don't know what the county's gonna do. We just don't know.
Can you touch on the peer reviews that were done? Because I believe Bruce had a peer review done. He hired an independent hydrogeologist to do a peer review in.
And the committee hired one.
Okay, so there was 2 peer reviews.
2 peer reviews. The county had their own independently. We had no idea that was coming. And basically they're talking about levels of uncertainty. And I think you could go around and around about that all day. The first peer review basically stated that the transient model is sufficient for what we're trying to do, and that's planned 50 years out. Now, is it going to tell you that's where saltwater intrusion is going to be in 50 years? Or is it going to be that? That's the kind of thing. I think that,
Yeah, we've been into the weeds, but it seems like those previews came back and said this transient model as it sits
I'm totally confident in that. And Spencer Harris, Spencer lives here in town. He's put his heart into this. I think he took some medical leave for it.
And then it was backed up by 2 other outfits.
Yes. No, we've been waiting for this. It's a big deal. And I can understand that the county doesn't take it well, because honestly, my own personal opinion, they jumped the gun a year ago when they took the community plan to the Coastal Commission. And so now we're trying to retreat gracefully.
It'd be interesting to know what the other 2 District 2 potential supervisors think about all this.
They've been showing up. I've seen them at the meetings, yes.
Oh, I talked to one at Oktoberfest.
Okay.
Or he seemed to recognize that Osos was a redheaded stepchild.
And they're not afraid of us if they come to Oktoberfest.
I didn't know.
Well, nobody was there.
Oh, I didn't see an identification though, so.
Chuck, I think one of the things that Bruce was harping on was that, and I believe you said this, that right now we're currently not pumping 2,000, pumping less than 2,000.
Right.
And he was saying that it was 0.4 or 4% that,
A 0.4.
0.4,
It's
okay,
0.4.
okay, I was mistaken there. But he said the 0.4 would still keep us under the 2,000. And that's what he was saying, well, we could get, 0.4% and still be under the 2,000.
But you're over the buffer.
Yes, the 80% of the estimated sustainable yield is what we're targeting. You never want to pump what you think you have, you know, for the margin of safety. So
That was something Bruce agreed to wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
Back when we did the amendments.
that 2,000 takes us down to 1,600 or so in terms of 80%. So I think year before last, we pumped 1,690. The 18, a little over 18 is the average for the last 5 years. And so that was kind of the framework, is that we try and pump what we've been pumping for the next couple of years and assume it's about 1,800 with the belief that we can go up to 2,000 over the next couple of years. Golden State's got to move a well. It's going to take 5 years to get all the activities in place that will lead to the 2,000. So, you know, the 2,000 is not the number that the consultant even said that we can pump right now, and we sustain it.
Definitely, the committee is, I mean, the community seems more comfortable being more conservative.
Well, this is, what do you do if you don't have water? You know, and we have water. We have water. We have lots of water. We can denitrify it. It's all a matter of expense. You know, Golden State has a facility that does denitrify. It's very expensive. There's new methodologies being talked about that would lower that cost. They're not here yet. Kind of like the pipeline over to Morro Bay. We're doing all the things that we can, but in the meantime, the optimism from a year ago was probably not justified.
All the recent projects that were hooked up recycled water affect that. The recycle, if they're on recycled water compared to when they weren't, wouldn't that lower the
It does, but not significantly. We've hooked everything up. All the schools, I believe, are connected. The community park is connected. Everything, we had the big ribbon cutting.
I think it's about like 40 acre feet.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
to
yeah.
save, so when I'm talking about of the 2,000.
That's a lot less than I was hoping for.
Well,
No,
there's
it,
still.
it might get that 0.4% for 1 year, but I don't know about for the future. And again, what we've been ignoring, I think, on the committee is some of the other level, the sustainable yield is an estimate. And so there's other criteria in the basin plan that we look at, but we're not fully reaching yet, like the water levels, the freshwater levels above salt water. We wanted to be 8 feet above salt water. We're at 4.
Chloride.
Yeah, the chlorides. And some of that, you know, the Rosina well, we're gonna get that offline. Nitrates went up last year. What is up with that? We paid how much for a sewer? To cure that. So, and this is, if anything tells you how dynamic this sort of thing is, the Bay Oaks well that we drilled, we don't get to use all the way down into zone E. And that's just, you know, new information with the transient model. So, stay tuned.
But you hit the nail on the head about plenty of water.
We got it.
And as you get into these advanced treatments,
It's managed.
recycled water, I mean, we're talking mega projects. So whatever we can do to ensure that we have groundwater that we can simply pump and distribute is absolutely critical.
That's the least expensive choice.
Yes,
And
yes.
we have to build all
Right.
sorts of facilities.
Desal
all sorts
and
of
hardware and everything
It's a
else.
lot.
Okay, so let's move it along. But good discussion, but
So I'm sure we'll have another one at our assembly meeting after.
Oh, yes. We have
Yes.
2 basin management committee meetings this month.
Go out and chat.
okay. That was the utilities report, right?
And the basin management.
Oh, okay, all that one done. All right, so finance, basically, the committee voted to approve the warrant register and receive and file the financials and the quarterly investment report. Not the normal stuff. Any questions? Don't remember anything else, but leaving something out.
No, standard, beautiful standard meeting.
Okay. That done, no ESAC, basin management, we kind of addressed, okay, district and community. And reports on attendance of public meetings. I attended the CSDA chapter meeting with Ron. It was a really good meeting. We had Chief Stonetta talk about, they were not able to audit the financials because our current ambulance company says they're proprietary. So you can't, but I think what had happened since that meeting is the county is gonna go out to bid on the ambulance contract for the first time in like 80 years,
Yeah.
80, no, it's like 80, it's like forever. So, that should be good news. You kind of pointed how we don't, like, the community is growing, like maybe not so much us, but Paso is growing, and how the ambulance service is not keeping up, and there are times when people have had to wait like 30 minutes. Which is kind of not at all what we want. So it was a really great presentation. And then we also had Heather Moreno, who's the new District 5 supervisor, come and speak, and that was really good as well. So yeah, it was a great chapter meeting. Recommend them if anyone else wants to go.
I'm missing it this quarter. I need a big neon sign to help me get there. Between being late and forgetting the off ramps in Paso and, you know, at 46 and coming back.
You need a phone call.
Hey,
I've just set
no, I need a
myself,
personal assistant.
I've just set myself alarms, so. Anyone else attend anything?
Coming up, some things coming up. Of course, in December, the needs and wishes will be a wonderful thing, but Saturday at the community center, the Bash Cancer Fest. 4 bands, it's wonderful, it's about 4 years now they've been doing that, some at the Red Barn, now they've moved the community center. There'll be 4 bands, silent auctions, it's a fun day. And great cause.
What day was it?
Saturday, the 8th.
At the Red Barn?
Yes, no, at the community center, well.
Community
Red Barn,
center.
Same park.
All right.
Yeah.
I
Follow-
hear
follow
it
the
from the
music.
Red Barn. Okay, all right. Anything else? All right, thank you. I don't believe we had any previously asked questions. Does anyone want to pull anything from the consent agenda? All right, public comment on the consent agenda.
If you're online, raise your hand, or in the boardroom, come to the podium.
We're gonna make a comment until Matthew asked about the basin. Richard Martinson, Bruce's position, I've been wanting him to articulate how the process got started for them picking their consultant, their peer review. There was a lot of comments in between other comments, and I'd like him to give a timeline on how that all played out and how the additional people were brought in and all that. And I've said from the beginning, I said it at the basin management with him in the room. He didn't have all these questions with the steady state model because it gave him the information he wanted to open up growth. But now a new state-of-the-art analysis comes in. Now it's all flawed. Now models are crap. It's pathetic. He's our supervisor. He should have the best interest of this community. This community, the entire community, not the few people that are bending his ear, donating to his campaigns, helping him get reelected. We went through this with the sewer. And his preferred site didn't happen. Also, keep in mind, and Rob Miller has stated this, back in the 80s, when there was this promise of the sewer, 1,100 to 1,200 homes were allowed to be built. When that didn't happen, the moratorium came into place. Rob says, he's told Ron and I, those homes hadn't been built, we might not have had the seawater intrusion problem we have now. Let's not make that mistake again. I know we're only talking 0.4%, but like Chuck said, with the buffer, we're above. I think somebody on the committee or the executive director said it's 91% of the pump.
The estimated sustainable yield.
Yeah. Not 80, 91. So yeah, 24 more homes here. That's what 0.4% works out to. And the other albatross in the room is climate change. What if we have 2-3 years of drought like we had a few years ago? How does that affect the model, the basin, the water levels?
Thanks, Ron. Anyone else?
Jeff, you just have to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jeff Edwards, and I'm speaking to item 5B under the administrative and committee reports regarding Sunnyside, and I believe Laura has a slide for.
I'm really sorry, Jeff, I do not have it on the presentation in front of us.
Okay, well then, let me say that for an average single family home in the sewer service area, it has 10 line items on its tax bill. 10. And this district is proposing an 11th vis-a-vis a Parks and Rec tax that is unaffordable in any amount. Water and fire are the highest district priorities at this time, with attendant tax increases pending for both state water and an increase in the special fire tax. We know the state water project, Intertie, is going to cost somewhere between $8 and $10 million. Then we have to pay and acquire the water to put in the pipe. The special fire tax is likely to double or more. At the FAC on Monday, I made similar remarks about the 10 line items on our tax bill, more to come, potentially. And Mr. Munns responded to my remarks, and however, I respectfully disagree with what he said. And in essence, Ron said, this matter is now, it's up to the voters. Well, the fact is, it's your board's involvement that has effectively lit the fuse on this effort. Moreover, if by some miracle enough folks are fooled into supporting this, then it is this district, your board, that would pick up the pieces. You're not property managers and ill-equipped to even consider acquiring such a property. Additionally, Mr. Munns lauded the open space and recreational opportunities that might be available at Sunnyside. Well, this ignores the Los Osos Habitat Conservation Plan and the tens of millions of dollars it will generate for real productive habitat and open space acquisitions around the community, which we planned for many years. Regarding the recreational component, that's almost laughable given the 50 feet of elevation change that is Sunnyside. It's not flat. So, and last but not least, as highlighted earlier, our priorities are water and fire. And Mr. Munns, he's guided these efforts. However, he may not be around to complete them. I would submit that your board is burning Ron out with this whole Sunnyside business. And I find that irresponsible at best. So, if they get the signatures, I guess this is going to be on a ballot, but you will be held responsible for your ill deeds. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think We just try to inform the community and get their input on the disposition of Sunnyside, and it's really their decision. It's a decision of the voters, and we just facilitate the will of the voters.
Mhm. As far as I recall, it is a community priority for Parks and Rec. We gave them an option to make it happen. It's up to them if they want it or not.
And
We support the community. That's our job.
and we did a survey, and if they'd said, we don't want it, we don't want to pay for it, that we would have been done, but that's not what it said.
Right. And there will be a vote to reaffirm or deny that.
All right.
Say something?
One more.
I think we did put both on.
Ashley Smith. I just wanted to speak to Sunnyside. I hope that my hope is that Sunnyside, that the community will be able to purchase and utilize that property and that it won't be densely commercially developed. I think that commercially developing that property would use a lot more water than what is currently using, and I just wanted to say that I hope to see it on the ballot. Thanks.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm closing public comment.
Then I move that we receive and file administrative committee reports and approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Do we need a roll call?
Yes.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Vice President Forkroy,
Yes.
Director Cesenia.
Yes.
Director Cross,
Yes.
Director Hubbard,
Yes.
President Womack.
Yes. All right. Any future agenda items? And do you have any public comments from the board?
There's one thing I will agree with Mr. Edwards on is that we probably have burned Mr. Munns out. I'm not sure it was Sunnyside School or not. Get well, buddy, get well. If you're, I hope you're not still listening.
Doctor's orders, he's out.
Okay, anything else? I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. Thanks everyone very much. Oh.
It's
I guess-
Wednesday at 1:30. Yeah, Wednesday at 1:30. Those meetings.